Mr. Bala Yusuf from Nigeria, studying in Malaysia. How is it in Malaysia? Okay, everything? It's okay? From Philippines? Assalamualaikum, Prof. Aida.
Waalaikumsalam.
We shall start in another 2 minutes, Prof. Is it okay with you?
Sure. Boleh
Right.
insyaAllah. Let me fix my camera first.
Sure, Prof. Feel free to do so. Wow, Mr. Abdul Matin from Sweden, Philippines. We have a lot of scholars and perhaps educators from all over the country. Welcome to our webinar today. All right, we shall start in 1 more minute officially, inshallah. You're looking very beautiful tonight, Doctor. Prof, sorry.
I'm still a doctor, so
Mm. We are still at meeting. All right. We are still admitting participants, Prof, because streaming online, Zoom, we can only cater for 100 participants. And the registrations were, the last time I heard from Mr. Zoru was 600 participants registered for the webinar tonight. So everyone,
yes, it was fantastic. I heard that from him too. I said he must be, your group must be organizing the event very well.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. So it's 9:01. May I start, Prof? All right. Okay. Assalamualaikum and a very good evening, everyone. Welcome to all participants of today's webinar, Building Your Researcher's Profile, and a special warm welcome to our guest of honor, our invited honorable speaker for today, Professor Dr. Aida Mustapha, a professor of artificial intelligence at the Faculty of Applied Sciences and Technology and the director of the Industry and Community Relations Center, Universiti Tun Hussein on Malaysia, with today's topic, Building Your Researcher Profile. So, hello. Hi, everyone. Oh, yeah. Before we start, I do believe our participants tonight, Prof, that we do have like from various universities and various countries. All right. So do you all mind sharing? Maybe we can just say a very quick hi, your name, your universities, and your countries in the chat box. All right. We have from Philippines, we have Mr. from Sweden, Bangladesh, all right, Iraq. Wow. Okay. Your ITM Shah Alam campus. Hello. Mr. Stephen from India, College Marakulim Kedah, Malaysia. Hello, everyone. It's very wonderful to have everyone here. Okay, so we are on Facebook, we are on YouTube and LinkedIn Live tonight because our Zoom can only cater for 100 participants, and our webinar tonight, in fact, been registered for like 600 participants, all right, throughout. So we hope all of you stay active and cheerful throughout the slot. And again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. So, are you all ready? If yes, type 1 in the chat box. All right. And if you have any questions throughout the session, please post it at the chat box. All right. Can I see anyone? One. Oh, Bangladesh, Pakistan. Hello, everyone. One. Beautiful. Yes. All right, but before we begin, allow me to take a moment to introduce on our distinguished speaker for the evening, Professor Aida Mustapha. All right, a very brief introduction. Prof. Aida Mustapha received her Bachelor Science degree in Computer Science from Michigan Technological University, Master of Computer Science from Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, and PhD in Artificial Intelligence from Universiti Putra Malaysia. Currently, Prof. Aida is the Director of the Industry and Community Relations Center at UTHM, overlooking strategic engagement with industries and communities. She is also the lead trainer for academic intellect and data analytic, AIDA, suits the name, Prof. responsible for Microsoft Professional Certification Programs for students, academics, and industry partner. Prof. Aida has published over 400 referred publications in soft computing, data mining, computational linguistics, and software agents, and her citations count is 3,176 with a Scopus H index of 29. Her main passion is pursuing the area of natural language studies and the application of natural language processing to holy text, in particular the Quran. She is also the chief editor of the Journal of Quranic Sciences and Research, a member of ISOTC 204, Intelligent Transport Systems, a member of the Malaysia Board of Technologies, and a member of the International Association of Counselors and Therapists. Whew. Very inspiring, Dr. Prof. All right. So, Prof, are you okay? Are you ready? Thank you very much for accepting the offer, joining us to be the speaker for tonight, Prof. I hope you're fine. So, without further ado, I would like to pass this floor to our honorable speaker, Professor Dr. Aida binti Mustapha. Please welcome.
Thank you so much. Very beautiful and very kind words from our host. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum again and good evening everyone. I'm not sure about Zoom. There's reactions button, right? Can I see like I don't know, smiley face, thumbs up or anything from everyone? Okay. Allow me to share my screen, yeah? Okay. My name is Aida Mustapha and I'm currently with UTHM. I moved to UTHM in 2014. Previously, I was attached with UPM. And I got this invitation from UPM as well. Ex-TNCA of UPM also texted me and say congratulations for the event. I must say you've done the group has done a very good job in promoting the seminar. I would just call this as sharing session, okay? And what is more important is that what I'm going to share you is an experience that is specific to me, and I will tell you why and how and why it becomes like that, and how you can also achieve, and how can you tailor your experience to suit from the takeaways that I'm about to share, because these are from personal up and downs. I don't have a coach when I started my PhD, and in fact I don't regard myself as a scientist. I regard myself as a teacher. I love teaching. And when people ask me about my paper publication, basically I would say because I love to write. Writing is actually very important, and we should all practice writing, because with writing we we are conveying our mind. If you are doing any research, you are conveying your results, you are sharing, because at the end it is for, because as academician, we are talent building, we are in talent building business, so we produce human capital. So it is very important that in whatever that you do, it is the big spirit is actually to elevate humankind, to increase, to contribute in the body of knowledge. That is the end goal of whatever things that we do. You want to be top researcher, top 1%, top 2% scientists around the world, or you want to be the best. They have I think awards in teaching as well. Whatever that you want to do, but basically, if you have this spirit, then there is no limit to what you can do. You only need to find the uh, tips or tricks on how to go about. Basically, not so much on making mistake, because mistakes are a very good experience, but to save our time. And so among part of the stories that I'm going to share you is about that. It's about how to minimize your time so that you don't repeat the mistake that I've done before. Again, the only way to do great work is to love what you do. I love writing. I enjoy meeting with students. I enjoy doing research, developing students. I enjoy having a good discussion, a research discussion. I enjoy an academic bantering, I call it, when we argue about the theory. So those interactions are very important. If you are happy with that, and I'm sure, and I will pray that you will go very far in your career. I'm not sure if there is any academician in our group now, or is it all postgrad students? Not necessarily, right? You're on mute.
It's open to everyone, Prof. So I
Okay, all
believe
right.
we do have like from all levels of people. I believe educators, professors. We do
That's
have,
fantastic.
yeah. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, so for today, I'm going to share about 3 key takeaways that you should take home. If it's good for you, if it is of any good, then you take home these 3 points. One is to curate, how you are going to curate your field, your expertise, and then how you collaborate, why it is important to collaborate, and the final one is coach. Coaching is very important. You might not be coaching students if you are still a student, but you will be coaching your future student. You also be coaching your peers as well. Okay. If I can give you an analogy, I always tell this story to my students and some of the early career researchers from my universities. Um, when we do work, when we build a research group, when we do a paper together or a very small project together, it is like I call it a bucket land. You know a bucket, right? Where we put like a pail where we put water in. So I used to live in a bucket land. So I work with all my peers within my department first, and then within my faculty. So I live in the world of my bucket. So one day, after I swim around or climb around, finding way out, and one day I toppled the bucket. When I toppled the bucket, then I found out I was in a bigger area. I don't know, maybe I call it a bathtub land. So I was in bucket land, now I'm in the bathtub land. The place is bigger. I don't know, I never met the person, I never met everyone there yet, but I'm going to explore. So then I started to explore. This is when you started with your supervisor, only 2 of you with your supervisor, and maybe some postgraduate students within your lab. You are still in your bucket land. Maybe you meet co-supervisor from other faculty. Once you go out to your bathtub land, then you start collaborating with other researchers, other friends from other universities. And one day, after you climb out, you will find out that you fall out to an open ground that is more bigger than what you ever seen. There are people more diverse background, more diverse knowledge, and there are so much thing that you can do. So keep on exploring. Don't be confined in your bucket, so called. So again, your bucket may be your faculty, maybe your university, your bathtub land, maybe universities within your country, and you should go further than that. I will tell you some of experience, how I get to, how I meet co-researchers from overseas later. Okay, so number one, curating your field, because we are here to build your researcher's profile as a researcher. Now, as a researcher, number one most important thing is that you learn, you do research, and you know that research is research again and again until you become an expert of that field. So when you do that, when you do the process, it is very important that you know what are the top journals in your field, who are the top researchers in your field. In fact, if you are applying for promotion later in later years, maybe going for associate professor or full professorship, they will ask you who are the top researcher in within country and international, and how far your profile or your H index differs from them, something like that. And what I want to share is that in my experience, when I started my PhD, I don't have any experience doing research at all, because as mentioned just now, I graduated in 1998 from Michigan. It was recession years. So I came back, I went in straight away to work in industry. And I think in 2002, I was already working at Mardi. Mardi is a research center, but I was working as an IT officer there. Then it was behind UPM. So I've seen these people, all the lecturers, I've seen them everywhere, most of the time. So I don't, I envy the time frame, their work. I say, how come they're everywhere all the time and not in the office? So it turns out, turns out that they have flexible working hours. So what I did, I go to UKM to take my master's degree doing part-time. My classes was only during weekends, Saturday and Sunday. I didn't do research, it was coursework. So when I started my PhD, it was it was difficult for me because I have no background in research. I have no background, no training whatsoever doing the literature review. Took me a while. And even my mindset, I was still proposing about projects. I wanted to do about chatbots during that time. And it was still on application side. There is no theoretical or foundation contribution to the body of knowledge. That's what my supervisor said. So I had problems on that, finding my problem statement. So once I get there, I go to a lot of training like this, repetitively, learning on how to write papers, and how there was even a training on how to write an abstract alone. After a few times, after a few rounds, then only I begin to see, and that was when I got into, I would say, trouble, ataupun quite a bad experience lah. So in 2008, when I was studying at UPM, if you remember, if some of you are academician, you remember 2008 was the year UPM was going for Apex University status. They were competing against USM during that time. So I was in my final year of PhD. I already submitted one paper to a Q1 journal. So when I submitted the paper, I waited for 1 year. And finally, after 1 year, I got the answer that my paper has to be revised in order to be accepted. So that was already half put in. So I did the correction, then I waited for another 6 months. So during that time, after I submitted the correction, back to my story about UPM going for Apex University, that was the first time when the university actually give funding to researchers, to academicians to pay to go for paid journals. Paid journals basically doesn't exist during that time. Even H-Index we don't have Google Scholar, we use one software called Harzing, Harzing. So what happened when because I already submitted my entire experiment to that Q1 journal. It was a journal of mathematics, and when we were asked to submit another paper to a paid journal, I submitted my main framework, the figure on my main framework. So the journal was not indexed because we don't have Google Scholar yet. We don't have we are not known to Scopus database or we only know Web of Science during that time. So once I submitted my main figure, it was a very short paper, some Korean journal, not indexed, and definitely it was accepted. So when I get the results from my Q1 paper, after I submitted the correction, I waited another 6 months and I got the answer, and they said your paper was rejected due to self-plagiarism. Okay, so my PhD work was basically gone, because when I publish my main framework, though, the figure in some obscure journals not known to anybody, subsequent paper when I tried to submit, definitely there is no way reputable journals are going to cite that journal. So basically I do not get citation at all. Basically the entire PhD research work is gone. I can't get a student to continue the research, because if you remember, your supervisor always tells you to get anchor paper from an index, and not only index, get anchor paper from Web of Science, from ISI journals with impact factor journals. So I'm not able to to get my students to even pursue my topics. So what I wanted to tell is that without knowledge, ataupun without an informed decision, a lot of things can go wrong. And whatever that you do in your research, make sure you always, first thing, you must publish in impact factor journals. Number one, because you remember just now, when we do research, we do for greater good. We do for humankind, we do for talent development, for nation growth. So the research that you do must have impact and must go out. It has to have impact to the society, to the country, in whatever form. Maybe innovation impact, economical impact. We'll go through a slide on impact later. Very important. So that's why I mentioned, if you have any time, it's very good that you keep on continuing to join this kind of events. This is where you meet people, you ask questions, and learn from other people's mistakes. Okay, and niche expertise. When I do my work, my PhD work was on computational linguistics, but after I finished my PhD, I started my career. It was very difficult to get a student, because text processing was not, never popular 10 to 15 years ago, because there's so much thing to do in text processing. So nobody wants to do it. So I got advice from Prof Ramlan. He already retired from FSKTM, UPM. He said, why don't you diversify? So he asked me to join his group on security. And I said, what can I do? How can I do on security? So what happened was, I managed to get an FRGS grant actually on that topic. My topic was stag analysis. Stag analysis. It is a stag analysis is a subtopic in computer security, but I was doing on text analysis. So I use my stylometric features, whatever that I have, the theory from computational linguistics. So I diversify, I go put into another domain. So don't fret, don't worry. If let's say your area is too niche or maybe not getting enough citation, I'll share more on how to how to jump over the fence and get it over with. All right. Most important, do what you love to do. Stay in your field. Then publish in specialized journals. I got invitation to co-publish by a researcher in Uni 10 many years ago. She asked me to check her regression multi linear regression model, and because she wanted to apply ANN, artificial neural network, and ANN is very far dated, and is an old algorithm, more than 30 years already. But what happened was that paper was actually one of the highest cited paper because it was published in not in computer science domain. It was published in she was doing on, I think, on tropics something, the journals. Okay, so yeah, don't worry so much about choosing a journals. You'll get more. I will share more after this. Contributing to special conference. If you see the trend now in Malaysia, because all universities, we are very tight to MIRA, therefore all conferences must be a Scopus index. And if you see the trend now, I was in RMC before. I was in now I'm in Industry Community Relations Center. Previously, I was in Research Management Center at UTHM for 5 years. So what we see the trend, when the publication is down for a university, the only way to push it up is to ensure that staff who apply for their grants to go to conferences, we have to ensure that the conference publish in journal. But good conferences do not do like this. In fact, overseas conferences, they don't really care about Scopus anyway. Okay, so you might have to find a balance. When you want to decide, get more information so that you have an informed decision. For example, I have students, this is the same case whether in UPM or UTHM. They came to me and said, the requirement is to publish 2 Scopus journals. How can I publish an ISI if like that? My answer is simple. You do your main work, always go for ISI. So you meet your KPI, the 2 Scopus journals, is from your side experiments. Side experiments meaning your field experiments can go to Scopus journals, or maybe you have a very specific analysis, and then you go deeper, or you compare with different domain, you apply into different data set because you already have the algorithm. This is for the case of AI. You apply to different algorithm, you publish one paper, but do not publish your main PhD contribution, none other than impact factor journals. Okay. I always call the paper paper suka-suka, like for fun papers. Okay, writing for fun. So your KPI is just for your fun, but to build your profile, your research profile, you need an impact factor journals. And then your technology and tools, there are a lot of technology and tools nowadays. I'm not going to detail on that, otherwise we'll take another 2 hours. Okay, so now when you start paving your way in research, this is the normal process. You have input. Maybe if you are still a postgraduate student, your supervisor have a grant. Usually, if let's say I have a students coming in, I would ask for their proposal, because I can easily make a research proposal. I'm good at writing. That is what I'm good at. I'm good at writing such that if you give me idea, I can write it and I can put it up until it becomes a nice proposal and it will get accepted. Same goes with people. But that is not what I want to do. That is not what my aspiration is. Again, I told you just now, I love teaching. I'm a teacher. I'm not a researcher. this is something that I happen to be good at. So when you have a grant, maybe your supervisor asks you to write a grant, that is a very good opportunity. If you don't have any experience, look for samples, and don't look for, if you're applying for FRGS, Fundamental Research Grant, you don't look for samples from FRGS only, you go overseas. You go look for other grant like British Councils, the NERC. There are a lot of grants from Japan. So you will see that when you have an input, whatever that you want to do, definitely they will ask for output. So output can be a student, can be, if you are a student, then you yourself is an output. And on top of that, you have to publish paper. That paper will become the KPI. And again, if the research is about your PhD research, you can safely commit an impact factor journal, impact factor paper in that, and throw in some Scopus paper just to get high chances to be accepted for the proposal. Then outcome. So you are an output, you will be an outcome. What will you be? So if you are a researcher, you have a student, what your student will be? Will he or she become another researcher? Will he or she continue the cycle? Will your research continues? And finally, what would be the impact? Again, that is why if we look at UK, REF, the REF framework in UK, all grants application, all research proposal must have a pathway to impact. So pathway to impact is basically just a statement. Where are you going to, where do you want to bring your research? So you need to answer questions like, who might benefit from the research? How might they benefit from the research? You imagine if I do, because I'm in AI, even if I develop one new algorithm, I don't know, maybe called Aida algorithm. So to what extent, to what kind of data set, to what kind of data that my algorithm will excel in? What would the domain, which domain that would benefit the most from the algorithm? Because again, choosing the algorithm is different. You have to see, it has to tailor from your data set. It can be balance, imbalance, it can be multi-class, binary class. This is for the case of machine learning. So you need to think more, because when you do something, do it with a big heart. Okay, you need to find the purpose, the purpose of your research in the world. Then only you will find there are a lot of other things that can fall into pieces and help you, push you, go along. Okay, scholarly identity is very important. As you know that now we already have Google Scholar. Previously, we use our H index, we use Harzing, Harzing. So this was, if you see my citation here, 5381, I think today I did this slide early January, and today is already 5479, 100 within 1 month. Now, in order for you to be, because I don't think about citation, but in order for you to get more citation is that you must be visible. If you type your name now in Google, can you find it in at least the first page? You try now. You Google your own name. Can you at least find it in the first page? Okay. And if let's say you do, when you do your, when you have your Google Scholar, when you have your citation and all. Sorry, Okay. So when you have your Google Scholar profile, you monitor this, and you already know from here. If I miss any point, you can ask me later, because sometimes I assume that everybody already know everything because I know your supervisor already teach you all this information. So you have your Google Scholar. If you see Google Scholar here, my H index in Google Scholar is 35. But when I go to my Scopus is actually 29. So there are big difference. if you see the citation in Google Scholar, this is live, my live view, 5,400, and my Scopus is 3,100. Now, so where does the difference come from? We know that Google Scholar, they scout for all papers, all digital footprint, your digital footprint, they will put in your Google Scholar. And sometimes you have to keep, because sometimes other people's papers coincidentally get added in your profile as well. And but Scopus again, it is a database that collects, that hosts thousands of journals. So if you have if you write in Scopus, if you get a citation, then only your Scopus H index will come up. Now, if you see my profile here, 2008 is actually the year I graduated from my PhD from UPM. Then 2000, okay, if you see this document 2, because I don't get document impact factor document from my PhD, as the story I told you just now. So this was document 7, mostly conference, and then document 7 until this is 2014. 2014, my document was up 22. Previously, 2013, it was 24. Now, what happened here? Actually, when I started when I graduated from my PhD, it was 2008. Then in 2013, I was tasked to teach one class, postgraduate class. It was a master's class. I teach data mining at UPM. So what I did, I gave assignments to students, but I don't give the assignment blindly. I give them a template on how to write, and I can share with you if you like. Hold on, I cannot find it here. Okay, I can share later. So basically, you know what? Maybe I just find it. Okay, again, my area is in AI. I teach data science, data mining, machine learning. So I prepared this template for my students. This is the title. I still use this template up until today. The name and then the abstract. So all the red text they have to replace. So it is a guided way on how to write. Abstract, introduction, 2 pages. So this paragraph here, this is called flag posting, where at the end of introduction, we must tell the reader what's next, what are in the following subsections. Related work, no tables, 2 pages. Methodology, there must be a figure, because you need to guide your author, you need to guide your audience, your reader, on what's the process. If you have a data set, because my area is experimental, so you have to explain the data set, what are the algorithms, what are the evaluation metrics, what are the results. And then the results show that analysis, what are the analysis. Okay, now teaching, knowing how to write is important. Teaching your students how to write is even more important, because writing is it is part of communication. If you do a lot of things but you are not able to pen it down to put it in the form of figure or graph, and you cannot explain your results in writing, then you are not a scholar, then we are not a scholar. Okay, so we have to get that skill. So again, usually if you have paper around less than 2,000 words, that goes to conference. If you have paper around 3,500 up to 4,000 words, that is already good for Scopus Journal. If you're going for impact factor journals, it is not ISI anymore. If you go for impact factor journal, you should have at least 10,000 word. And 10,000 word, 3/4 is results. So that's the base guideline. When I started my journey, I thought 3/4 should be the introduction and plus the literature review. No, it is not. It is the results. So maximize, just throw any results that you have. Okay, for impact factor journals, 3/4 of the paper must be results and analysis. Okay, unless you are doing a literature review paper, then that's okay for you to focus on review. So review is not important. Most important is your results. Okay, so back to the story here. So why it is important? You must keep track all your Google Scholar, all your citation, H-index, and then you always update whether check if any of your paper is missing. Maybe it's under different names, especially in the case of Scopus. If you need help, you can contact me at any time. I can teach you how to combine to merge your Scopus titles. Because sometimes there are a lot of people who have same name with us, right? And our profile got mixed up. You have to put up a request to identify to exclude papers that don't belong to you, and then maybe you can do other changes as well. You can even add papers that is missing. Maybe like my student, they put my binti. Binti is not a name. It's not part of name actually. So yeah, we have to find. You have to keep track your paper. All right. Then the next one is researcher ID. This one for your impact factor journals. If you see my H-index in Web of Science is only 16 as compared to the previous one. Remember, I lost my entire PhD work. Yeah, I'm still sad actually thinking about it. All right. Okay, so again, H-index is your research footprint. When you do citation, now, I don't do self-citation. The healthy self-citation rate, if you exclude your citation, to me is maximum 2 or 3, the difference. So if I go to H-graph here, I need to log in. Okay, here, exclude self-citation. Because the information is public. So you imagine, mine is 27. Why 27 is okay, I will tell you. But before that, because our profile is public. So if let's say anybody, I don't know, potential reviewer, potential examiner, potential employer who's looking over your profile, and they see there are big difference in your H-index, that indicate that you do a lot of self-citation. Why self-citation is not good? Because we are in the game of increasing our citation. But why the difference of 2 and 3 is acceptable? Because when we are a researcher, along the way, we will develop students, we will develop people, okay? And these people will have to cite their previous work in order for them to go forward. Okay, you get the idea. So it is allowable for the difference between 2 to 3. That means that you are having student and your student is citing their work, your work. So that is fine. But do not cite, don't focus so much on citation. Citation will go by itself. Like my example, I mentioned in 1 month, we are able to get 100 citation. So why? The idea is that, the theory is that the more you are known, maybe not known, the more your paper, once your paper is out there, out in the I would say on the research world, then people will start noticing. So when they do keyword, any keyword search, they will say, oh, you have this paper. and then they go look further, you have more people that are of their interest. Okay, so that is one way. That is how your citation increase, and don't think about it too much. Okay, so key takeaways here, keywords. Again, for your research, for example, my area, I stay true to my area, which is in computation linguistics. I do machine learning, data mining, agent-based system. But if you see from my scopus, my keyword is actually gambling, though. And you know why? You see, most contributed topics: prediction, gambling, football.
That's a big word there, Doctor. Prof.
Uh,
Gambling.
Gambling. So that's what Scopus labeled me lah. But basically, the research came from only one student who started doing work on football prediction. I took only, I think, 2 rounds of paper where his paper, when I corrected, it was bloody red with all the corrections. Then after that, he's able to write. And sometimes I cannot even tell whether I wrote that or he wrote that piece of paper. But basically, the area is on prediction, football match outcome prediction. And I have another group on software agent. If you see here, okay, prediction on software agent, on Quran. Quran is my favorite one. And then if you see some on intro from security. Okay, so why are the papers are diverse? So we'll go there next, right? Okay, collaborating with peers. When I started, again, when I finished my PhD, I wanted to start doing research. I have no groups. I have no research group in FSKTM, UPM. During that time, research group are not, it is not like now. Now we have a dedicated research group. Every faculty must have a research group in certain area. But during that time, it was basically free to do. Anyone free to make any groups. So what I did, I went to Uniten. Uniten is, I don't know, 5 kilometers away from UPM. And I met my mentor there, Arwah Prof. Sharifuddin. So we started with only 4 of us. Myself, him, one master student, one PhD student, whom now become our friends already. We become friends later. So what I see, the value that I see from him is that he actually sit down and we discuss. When we do discussion, we don't discuss on slides. We discuss on papers. That means if you are going to present your paper, you are presenting your actual paper, not the slides not the slides or extract from your paper. Okay. So with that, from the group, I came from UPM, but I go to Uniten. So I become a part of another group. I collaborate. That is one. This is where I started my work on software agent. Then later in 2013, 2000, I think, yeah, in 2013, the faculty wanted to do, I think, self-accreditation. So I wanted to run away from the so-called, from the academic task, and doing accreditation. So I applied for a research leave, a research attachment. In that research attachment, I went to attach with Center of Quranic Research in under Professor Zulkifli, Professor Dato Zulkifli. He's doing Quran. This is where my Quranic work starts. So then I have a group of like-minded people doing work on Quran, but then I constantly apply my area, which is computation linguistics. Then again, when I go at the faculty, I was with Prof. Ramlan doing the text stack analysis. Then when I get students later in UPM, in UTHM, I had 2 students doing stack analysis. And we don't have any expert anymore because Prof. Ramlan was already retired. So what I did was I asked them, whose paper that you actually cite atau or you see a lot in your literature. So they told me about this professor in UM. So I wrote to them. I wrote to him. I wrote to him that now I have my students. Can we work together? Can I send my student there? And the collaboration works fantastic. We have a lot of people together. I end up being a co-supervisor to his students, and he become examiners to my students as well. Very important collaboration. Interdisciplinary collaboration. I mentioned about the professor in Unit 10 doing in palm oil. International collaboration. Now, international collaboration. One example. I'm currently I'm currently an associate editor at sports medicine. My area is not even sports medicine. Remember my keyword was on gambling, on football gambling in Scopus. I got invitation to become associate editor there. And when I look through, because of the papers, because I have a lot of papers on sports prediction. When I look through, one of the co-editor, one of the associate editor is somebody that I know. I contacted him before, Felipe. So what happened? In 2015, because I don't have anything better to do, I did a conference on sports, on sports, because I don't have a team doing sports. It was only my student and I. So we decided, okay, let's do a conference. Get some papers on like-minded people or people who do similar work together. And I told my student, go find, let's write to a few of authors that you see in your literature review, so that maybe you can collaborate and write paper. But one thing, if you plan to do this, please ask them to check your paper and do not ask them to put your name in their paper. That is almost an insult to their intelligence. Ask for help. If let's say you need them to find, maybe they write a good piece of paper on review only. So when you write the paper, ask them to review and then ask permission. Can we put your name in this paper to acknowledge your contribution? So in the case we sent to a few, I think another one rejected. He gave all the input to improve the paper, but then he refused to be part of the paper. The other one agreed. So I had that. We had a co-authorship with him. He's from, I think, Spain or Netherlands. I'm really bad at this. So then subsequently, he contacted me and say, okay, can I help him on another paper? So that is the form of international collaboration that we are looking for. So when you have this collaboration, at the end, it will bring you to places that you would never dream of. It brought me to sports medicine. I don't even play sports, but I only stick and stay true to my area, which is on analytics, and that is in the domain of sports. I also am the editor for Journal of Quranic Science and Research. That one is the journal that I established myself with my colleague at UTHM, because it is very difficult to find Scopus Index journals in Quran. And by the way, it is not Scopus yet. We are still working on it. Okay, so collaborating with peers is very important. Yeah. Okay, and then if you remember the 100 citation in 1 month, you should target that. And how you interact, you should be active in your collaboration networks. I'm sure that you have ResearchGate. ResearchGate is one of the most used platform. Until recently, there was an issue about MDPI, if you know about it. But I still find a ResearchGate is a useful place. And whenever people request, maybe once in a month, I will spend my time to actually send papers to others. And when you send paper, you need to, there is one website called, I think, Sherpa Romeo. And that was during my time. I'm sure there are more websites now that should be able to tell you whether it is a green journals, whether you can share. If it's an open access, then it's a very clear case. But for others, you have to check the copyright. Yeah. Update your research in your LinkedIn, your academia.edu. This is very old, not so popular. Microsoft Academic also not very popular, but once in a while they have they will ask you to deposit your paper in the platform. So you have to decide whether that platform would give you more visibility. In order for you to gain higher citation, you need to be visible. Okay, you need to be visible. You need to be helping people to get them visible. If you have a paper that maybe you cannot share, you send them privately. And likewise, if you go to ResearchGate, don't simply, request for paper, request. You only request paper when you cannot find the paper online. Most of the time, because it will give a different impression to other people. Because I see some of the students requested me paper that is easily Google. You can easily find. That shows that you are not, you see a nice topic, you just ask, but you don't take an effort to go and find it first. So maintaining all this site is very important. It is, for example, if you have an item that you sell, I don't know, maybe you sell books, you have a book. In order for you to sell more books, in order for you to sell more of the book is that you must let many people know about it through advertisement. Maybe you sell to different platforms. You sell in Amazon, you sell online, I don't know where else, you sell in Facebook, you even sell in, I don't know, grocery stores at the back of your house, you even sell there. The more people see it, then the higher chances that they will pick up and read. Okay, so again, putting your paper in many places is very important, and putting it at the right places. If let's say you have a very targeted, ataupun you know that you want to increase your citation, your H index, you know that you only need, let's say, 2 citation. Let me just show you this. For example, this how am I going to increase my H index to 30? So you know the H index is the basically the minimum number of citation with the minimum document. So now my H index is 29 because I have 29 citation. I have 29 document that cites 29 citations that have, sorry, what am I saying? I have I have document with 29 citation. But in order for me to increase my H index to 30, I need one more citation. I need 30 document citing, having 30 citations. 30 document having 30 citation. So I need 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So in your case, if let's say you don't go immediately target this, because when you want to get a citation, the paper that cite you must be published first. That will take around, I don't know, 6 months, 1 year. So when you promote your paper, you go further. You go maybe, let's say, I want to target for H index 35, maybe. So I need to promote this paper, this 27, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what do I mean by promote? By promoting is actually not asking people to cite our paper. It is actually to tell the audience what are the key factor in your paper that they should cite. So where do we do this? The platform. The platform can be in ResearchGate. It can be in LinkedIn. You write we don't simply share, I publish in Impact Factor Journal, H Index 30. You actually mention what are the main contribution, and people will go and look, will go see and cite your paper. Okay. So back to here. All right. Then again, editorial and review contribution. Nowadays, in Scopus or in Elsevier, is very, very easy to find paper. And don't simply, if you get review invitation, don't simply decline them, because they can see how many that you decline. For example, These are my co-author. You see my review rating is 50, but his review rating is 79, which is fantastic. I agreed 2, I declined 1. He agreed 17 and he only declined once. So actually people can see this, your profile, all your digital footprints, your academic footprints. All right. So again, the second takeaway, as I mentioned, the first one was to curate your researcher profile, and number 2, to collaborate with your peers. You also find a mentor, basically find somebody who can help you make an informed decision. Okay. All right. Finally, coaching students. Why coaching student? Even if you're a student now, it is very important for you to start having this I would say aspiration or motivation, because you will develop. You cannot sustain your work, your work, or the advancement in your work cannot stop with you. It has to be continued for greater good, for the nation, to the mankind, to the body of knowledge. It has to continue. So you need to guide people to continue the journey. So mentorship and guidance, again, if you usually the problem that I see now, especially from overseas students, when you come, you want to continue your studies, but then you don't have fun. So the first thing that you ask when you send in proposal, maybe you randomly email to some people, to the professor, and say, I have this. I'm interested to pursue my study. Do you have any fund? That is a big, I would say, that's a deal breaker. It's a deal breaker. Okay. When you are asking for fund, that means when we are asking for fund, that means we are up to do anything under the sun. It does not reflect your passion in research. Unless you go for a very specific name, and then you tell them you have this proposal, what are your interests? What do you want to do specifically? Then the funding can come later. In fact, if you come first, register first, either way, you have to find the initial funding. Proposal can be worked out anytime within your study. Okay. And then contribute as well to teaching maybe undergraduate students. And then one of it is empowering students to present at conference. What I do is that in the assignment, student paper assignment, I always send, because they'll do less than 3,000 words for undergraduate. They don't have any idea, to cook the paper. So I usually send to conferences. What I tell them, I will pay for the conference, but you have to pay for your traveling. You have to go present yourself. I'm not going to present your paper. So this is a very valuable experience to students, and this is where they get to meet their potential examiner, potential supervisor, potential research group, those who share the paper, who share the research. This is how you grow your circle. And if let's say you haven't gone to conference, for a long time, I haven't gone myself, quite some time, do go. Enjoy the discussion. Go for niche conference, especially if let's say the KPI is not so pressing. That's why I don't really make heat of KPI, because if you do whatever that you like to do, you will keep on writing. You will keep on finding yourself jumping in another project, to the next project, which is KPI is not something that you really have to think about it. It can easily be achieved. So finally, you have a research community. If myself, I have a different research community altogether, depending on where on which area, and I do maintain close contact. I help. I make sure I contribute in terms of reading the paper. Um, even if my name is not in the paper, that is very important. And when you contribute, the first thing, your intention must be very clear. You actually want to contribute to the paper. You want to develop your peers. You want to develop your students. So when you have that mentality, or when you have that perspective, you are, you will be one of the great researcher in your time, inshallah. And you must have trainings as well. Go again and again and again. This is where I learn about ISI Institute, what is WOS, what is AHSI, what is SSCI. There are a lot of difference on that. So you must know in order for you to make an informed decision. Again, when you want to choose journal, which one? If you have a journal is ESCI, Emerging Science Citation Index, is it good enough to send? So you need to find these answers before you actually go send. Okay. The idea is that when you want to send, will it contribute to your body of knowledge? Will it reach proper audience? So if, let's say, you just send for the sake of sending, like I send my framework to that non-index journal, it was just for the sake of sending. It will not, it will not go anywhere. All right. Proposal writing, grant application, ethics, these are all things that you must have knowledge in. Okay, so basically, yeah, enjoy your journey. It always seems impossible until it is done. Khalas. So I will end here. Thank you so much for your time. I hope we still have time if I can entertain for some questions. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. And thank you very much, Prof. Aida, for a very fruitful and very informative sharing. And Prof, I am so sorry to hear about the incident that happened, like the earlier stage, the framework. Yeah, I believe it still hurts. Yeah. Listening to it, I do believe
Dia geram je tau.
blood and tears tiba, Prof. All right. So and I would like to reshare what Prof Aida mentioned earlier. All right. The first quotation that I read on let me just share. All right. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. And I believe Prof Aida, with the sharing that we have today, definitely Prof Aida is really, really, really into this, loving the teaching profession, sharing with us together tonight. And the three main key points that Prof Aida shared, correct me if I'm wrong, Prof, right? So the first key point was curating your research profile. One, curate. So we have to be who we are. Okay. And second, collaborating. That will be the key point. And the third one, coaching. So these will be the three main key points highlighted by Prof. Aida today. However, before we move on to the question and Q&A, I believe we do have like one question, inshallah, Prof. Okay. Is it possible if we can proceed with a very quick e-photo session, Prof?
Yeah, sure.
So we move on to the Q&A itself. All right.
I have to follow the host.
All right. So participants, especially in the Zoom, I hope everyone can you all please switch on or open your camera for this session. So Mr. Zoris Islam will help us to share to snap the picture. Shall we have like okay, let me just. Okay. Um, I can't see anyone here. The host would be Mrs. Zorul. Can we have everyone? Maybe we can have the picture taking with Prof. Aida, right? Mr. Zorul, can you give us some feedback? Do you manage to get everyone on the screen? Oh, okay. Beautiful. I can do this. Right. So, smile everyone. Smile, Prof. All right. First page. Second page. And the third page. All right. Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much, everyone, for staying tuned. Okay, Prof, if you don't mind, I believe there is this one question that we have along in the StreamYard, Prof. Okay, there is this one question by Mr. Rachid Bendo. Okay, the question is it important to publish in Scopus and Web of Science? Is it enough to publish in peer-reviewed index journals?
Okay, thank you. Now, depending on where you want to be, I don't know, in 10 years time, and depending where you are affiliated with. In Malaysia, it is very important minimum Scopus because our government only recognize Scopus index. Currently we have the base mark, the base is Scopus. Then we also go for impact factor journals. Some call it ISI journals, but ISI is actually the old name before they acquired to be Web of Science journals. So very important depending on again where you are. But why the number one reason actually why you need to publish in Web of Science? Why not publish in RZIF? You know about RZIF, right? The
Is it?
preprint ARXIV.
Ah,
Why not publish there? You can also publish there. Okay. Because when you publish at you publish at Web of Science, journal with impact factor, and another one you publish in my journal, journal of Quranic research, not even Scopus, is only indexed by Google Scholar. The difference lies in the quality of review that you will get. If you go to Web of Science, the experts who review are very niche in the area, and they can be very brutal in their reviews. This is what you need to improve your work. But if you send, for example, I don't know, in my journal, for example, I just go send the paper to my friends to review. That is not no, that is not so called a quality review. So the more review you get, the higher quality response that you will receive, the better the paper will be. So that will be my answer. Yeah.
all right. Thank you very much, Prof. I believe, yeah, when we get some feedbacks and we learn through time. So I remember when you were sharing your experience, your first Scopus was 6 months and 1 year, sorry.
1 year.
It was 1 year and it was not really published, and you have to do the correction. I mean, like 12 months. And now, wonderful, Prof. Okay,
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So Prof, we do have another questions. Is it okay with you? Uh,
Yes, I have time.
all right. So the next question.
Students don't sleep, eh?
But then,
Students, the postgrad student don't sleep very early at night, right? I
yeah,
don't know.
you don't. Well, what is night, Prof? Yeah, nights. Okay, one of the question by Ms. Sabrina, how do you recommend balancing teaching responsibilities with ongoing research commitments?
Teaching is number one. You either way, you must take care your teaching. Research is actually secondary. So I have, when I was in RMC in the Research Management Center, I have early career researchers came to me now, and they asked, the faculty is giving me so much of teaching, but I love research. I want to do research. I don't want to teach. My answer was, if you don't want to teach, you go change your scheme, go to Q, become a researcher. You don't be an academician. You become academician because the spirit, the core job is to teach. So how to balance? By you turn whatever that you teach into research. That is the easiest way. Like my example, I teach data mining. I train them to do one project, and in the project, I make sure that there is a contribution to the body of knowledge from the project. That means it is not simply, redoing whatever paper, whatever experiments or algorithm that's already exists. One example is that I go call my friend, look, hey, you have a new data set that maybe you collect, you play around in your lab, you have new data, come give me new data. For example, recently I got one friend from physics. He gave me gold spectroscopy data, which I have no idea what it was about, but we learned together. Then we managed to publish one paper on that.
It is like killing not just two birds, but killing few birds
Many
at
birds.
one time.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, all right. That's beautiful. Blending it, embed the teaching profession together with
Yeah.
all research, and like it goes along the way, right,
It
Prof?
is actually what I just told you is only half of the story. The other half is the stories that when you have your research, you bring back your research into your teaching. That is the innovation that you put back. That is what we should do.
See. Okay, so there are many more questions coming in, but I'm so sorry, I'll be like choosing few, okay, which is, I believe, relevant. So maybe maybe Prof can share, there's another question. Could you please suggest a few promising research problems in our field from your knowledge with the potential for significant contributions and high citations?
Uh, Sorry, the question asking research area.
Um, the question is on suggesting a few promising research problems and potential for significant contributions.
Okay,
Can
research
you find the
problem.
ah.
How to find a problem first. Problem is everywhere. It is actually finding what's local problem or national problem. I don't know, maybe flood, maybe on agriculture, maybe on security, maybe on human capital, whatever problems, real problem. You remember the pathway to impact. So you must come with an impact first, your impact statement. What is it that you want to solve? So from there, what are the expertise that you have, your area that can contribute to the field? But this is not for PhD. If you're doing PhD now, you follow your supervisor's problem. You don't.
Exactly.
You follow your supervisor's problem. You don't bring your own problem. This is for if you already pass pass that phase lah. You want to find project. So yeah, you go, that's how you find problems. Find real problems and how your area can solve that problem. So it is basically a multidisciplinary. You can actually get more citation. You publish in multidisciplinary journal. Remember in 2000, I don't know, 10 to 15 years ago, one of the highest citation paper it was not published. The prediction models was only using ANN, and ANN was already 30 years old, but it takes off. The paper took off in that I don't remember, and now we are sending to hydrology. So you will see a lot of AI paper in other domain. Another thing is that which one higher citation? Literature review, SLR, definitely. Between a literature review, SLR is better because SLR give more information to the reader. What kind of information? Because in SLR, you actually tell, okay, how many people you are studying, from which source. So people can actually take that to do the step. And then the other one, review paper. When you do review paper is not about telling who did what. Review paper is about mapping, producing a new map of what are the component of what. You know, if there is a domain, if you're talking about an algorithm, let's say in machine learning, you have a heuristic algorithm, meta heuristic algorithm, then what are the sub up until the most recent one. So that is the contribution. Yes, the slide I will share later to the organizer. The other point is that I wanted to say pasal apa tadi, pasal review paper
Between review paper, but then I believe you have answered
uh,
on between review, conventional or systematic, which is more like what?
SLR. Yeah, if you do SLR is better. Yeah, the reason is that, oh, nah, I want to tell you this. If let's say later, you want to find a problem, back to the problem just now. The easiest way, even easier, if you don't want to think about the impact, if you are too lazy to go find whatever is happening around you, one foolproof way to find a problem is to find the most recent thesis in your field. You Google that. You find in top universities, I don't know, in Harvard, Berkeley, you find in your area, find the thesis. In the thesis, there is a section, we have section on the future work. You start from there. The good thing about this is that your literature review is guaranteed. You know the path of your literature review, so you are very much guided. You don't start, scratching from zero, waiting for the light at the end of the tunnel. So that is the easiest way. So when a student come to me, I will ask, when do you want to graduate? If let's say they say I'm just doing my PhD, because my parents asked me to do so, or because I don't have any jobs to do now, then I will show the easy way to do it, just to pass your PhD. But if you go for to be a true researcher, then let's do other things. All right.
Yeah. And I remember at the earlier part of your speech, you were saying that when we are doing our research, especially when the topic for today is building our researcher profile, we are being a researcher not just for us, but it's for national growth. We want to give impact to others, communities. So
Sure.
that is what I quote from you actually, Prof. Earlier on. All right.
That's very important.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. So I believe that is all the questions we have. Alhamdulillah, Prof. So thank you so much, Prof. TS Dr. Aida. So I really hope all the participants able to grasp some beneficial input for today's sharing. I really learned a lot today. So one of the KPI, 100 citations in 1 month, Prof.
Hmm.
Push.
Yeah,
Right. So it's possible, Prof. Right?
possible.
I'll try
I
my best.
can do it, and I don't even call myself a researcher.
All right. So inshallah, it's a challenge for all of us. Yes. All right. So thank you again, Prof. T.S. Dr. Aida Mustapha for the sharing and time spent with all the participants, with all of us. So for today's session, everyone, please do tag us in your story, your status, and posting to invite more people to join this kind of webinar in the future. So your support really, really, really mean everything to us. So you can't go back to and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. So I believe this is really the end of the session. So see you everyone. Thank you again, Prof. On the next webinar in the near future, inshallah. So we are signing off. Thank you very much and good night, everyone. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you. Good night, everyone. I also dropped my email and my handphone number if you need anything. I'll send in the slide as well.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Prof.
Bye. Good night.
Night. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.